Stakeholders. What is a stakeholder? A stakeholder is someone who has a stake in the project. Let's break that down further. A stakeholder is someone who could be impacted by a project. Therefore, they have a stake of interest. A stakeholder is someone who can impact the project positively or negatively. Think about it. If you are a project manager, it is so important that you identify all these people who could be affected by the project or who could affect the project. Now, contrary to popular opinion, stakeholders are not rigid in behavior, as many people think. Stakeholders should not be personality typed because stakeholders could change, they're fluid, they're dynamic. As a mentor of mine, Dr. Rick Brinkman said, they change and evolve, they are fluid and dynamic. Therefore, personality typing is not an effective way of keeping tab on your stakeholders and planning how to manage their engagement. Some project managers are guilty of planning how to manage stakeholders, but that is not our job. Our job is to manage their engagement. Stakeholders one day could be like lambs, and the next day they could be lions.
Stakeholders are like shapeshifters.
So I have learned not to stereotype stakeholders
I am an out of this world stakeholder.
and bucketize them as many personality typing vehicles do. As a project manager, it is important that you remain open minded. One strategy that I have adopted when joining projects or working with organizations is having a blank template, a blank mind. As Dr. Rick says, do not hallucinate freely. It is so important that you come on the project without any preconceived ideas or notions regarding these stakeholders, regardless your prior experience. So bucketizing stakeholders as letters of the alphabet or combining letters of the alphabet as some personality type in vehicles do is not the preferred way, in my opinion. As a project manager, we want to be open-minded. We want to come in with a blank slate. And we want to come in ready to create change. I do not believe that project managers should bucketize and categorize and place labels on stakeholders. It's not effective. Have an open mind. What I do believe is stakeholders display certain behaviors that can be bucketized and categorized, not their personality, but their behavior. There's a difference because behaviors change. When we talk about personalities, we're saying it's a one-way street and that is it. I do not believe that. I believe stakeholders are malleable, they are flexible in many instances. Therefore, as a project manager, we should maintain an open mind to see how a stakeholder could morph and change on us.
You can trust me. I'll do no harm to you.
Let's not look at them as being rigid, but let's identify the possibilities that they are for stakeholders to change. One minute they could be a tank trying to grind and ram you down for not doing what you should at the right time.
Hey, where are my reports?
Another time when a stakeholder's in a very jolly mood, they could be so amiable, they could be so friendly, they could be so jolly.
It's never too late to come up with some outlandish ideas for requirements.
And other times they're heads down trying to get things done. Now remember, these stakeholders are not just a customer, they're not just a client, they are also team members. So have that blank slate, open mind. Think about a stakeholder as being an ally until proven otherwise. And if proven otherwise, it's our job to get them on our side as allies. Sometimes stakeholders could be deadpan face, no expression, right there in the middle. And perhaps at that time, that is the best place for them to be, so they do not become meddlesome. But we definitely don't want them on the negative spectrum or an obstacle. Project managers should see themselves as collaborators with stakeholders. If you have enjoyed this, please hit like, subscribe, share with your friends, and remind your fellow project managers personality typing is not the best and most effective way.
You don't want to make a fool of yourself.
The most effective way is to see stakeholders as what they are: malleable, changeable, and very dynamic in behavior. Case in point, take a look at this interview with one of my favorite stakeholders. You have said you would not, emphatically not, take the PMP exam. Can you give us a little bit of background as to why you wouldn't take the PMP exam?
Yeah, I wouldn't touch that PMP exam with a 10-foot pole. That's just a bunch of baloney. I've been a superintendent, I've been an engineer, I've been working on these job sites for hundreds of years before you kids were even born. And here you come talking to me about some lame pimp certificate? You cannot replace my years of experience with a piece of paper.
I'm sorry, I'll have to stop you there, sir. There's no need to get all insulting here.
I ain't getting insulted. I just tell you